Hello, gorgeous. Welcome to Girls That Manifest. On this show, I will teach you how to manifest an expansive and extraordinary life beyond your wildest dreams. We will go deep on all things mindset, manifestation, law of assumption, spirituality, and metaphysics. I can't wait to bring you this content. So grab your matcha, mimosa, or macchiato and let's get into the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Girls That Manifest. I have to apologize for this week's episode being a little bit late. As you may know, I've been running the free 3-day training, Quit the Money Struggle, inside the Girls That Manifest Facebook group. So I have been really dedicating most of my time and energy to that, which meant this week's episode got pushed back a little bit. But it's okay. We are here. We are doing it. And today I'm going to be answering 5 more juicy money questions that you have sent in that you would like answered. If you've been following the show a while, you will know that I've already done an episode like this. I did it a few episodes back in episode 38 where I answered 5 juicy money questions. If you haven't listened to that, I highly recommend you go and listen to those answers as well. In today's episode, I'm going to be answering these 5 questions. How to be in a relaxed, expecting state around money. What was the thing that finally clicked for me in manifesting consistent money? How do you know when your money mindset work is actually working? What is the most difficult challenge and obstacle that I overcame to start manifesting? And finally, how do you know whether to wait for the desire to manifest or to take more action? Really, really good questions, juicy questions that have come in from you guys this time, and I can't wait to answer them. So let's get into it. Question number 1, how to be in a relaxed, expecting state around money. So this lovely listener said, "Hi Elise, I love your show. I listen to it religiously, and it's really the only thing keeping me sane at the moment. I'm currently in the worst financial position I've ever been in. I am so stressed about money. I know it's my mindset, but I can't shake the scarcity feelings. How can I be in a relaxed, expecting state around money when all I feel is lack, fear, and scarcity?" So this is a really, really great question, and I imagine many people are going through this exact issue. So here's what I have to say about that. The first thing you have to do, which you may not like the answer to, but it is truly the first answer that you need and what everyone needs when they're going through anything that they're struggling with, is that you have to take radical responsibility for yourself, right? For yourself, for the position that you're in, for where you are. Obviously, there are outside circumstances you can't control, but you have 100% control over yourself and how you're perceiving something at any given time. And so what I mean when I say taking radical responsibility is you don't necessarily have to own up to your place in how everything has played out, but you do have to take responsibility for the fact that you control yourself. You have 100% control over how you are responding to things, what you are choosing to focus on, and where you are taking yourself. You have 100% responsibility over that. The very first personal development book I ever read was by Jack Canfield, and it was called Success Principles. And the very first principle he talked about was taking responsibility for yourself, taking 100% responsibility for yourself. And so here's a little snippet from his book that really hit me the first time I read this. I think I must have been like 21 or 22 when I read this, and this was like kind of over my head at the time. But as I've gotten older, it's become more and more apparent that this is 100% what every person needs to do if they truly want to create the life of their dreams. Not just with money, but in every area. He said, "If you want to be successful, you have to take 100% responsibility for everything that you experience in your life. This includes the level of your achievements, the results you produce, the quality of your relationships, the state of your health and physical fitness, your income, your debts, your feelings, everything. This is not easy. In fact, most of us have been conditioned to blame something outside of ourselves for the parts of our lives we don't like. We blame our parents, our bosses, our friends, the media, our coworkers, our clients, our spouse, the weather, the economy, our astrology charts, our lack of money, anyone or anything we can pin the blame on. We never want to look at where the real problem is, ourselves. But if you want to create the life of your dreams, then you are going to have to take 100% responsibility for your life as well. That means giving up all your excuses, all your victim stories, all the reasons why you can't and why you haven't up until now, and all your blaming of outside circumstances. You have to give them all up forever. You have to take the position that you have always had the power to make it different, to get it right, to produce the desired result. For whatever reason, ignorance, lack of awareness, fear, needing to be right, the need to feel safe, you chose not to exercise that power. Who knows why? It doesn't matter. The past is the past. All that matters now is that from this point forward, you choose. That's right, it's a choice. You choose to act as if you are 100% responsible for everything that does or doesn't happen to you. If you don't like your outcomes, it's time to change your responses. Change your responses to the events, to the way things are, until you get the outcomes that you want. Isn't he a good writer? I really like Jack Canfield. Going back to your question about how to be relaxed and expecting around money when all you're feeling is fear, lack, and scarcity, is to take radical responsibility for yourself now. It doesn't matter what has been the past story. It's in the past now. It's dead, right? We don't need to relive the past experiences and then add on more blame or guilt or shame about our choices that we've made. The difference now is that you know, that you're aware, and that you fully understand that you have 100% control over how you are responding to everything. Right? So it's about taking your power back. No more stories, no more focusing on the external world and saying, this is happening and it's really bad and I'm in the worst position I've ever been. I don't see how it's going to change. I cannot get my mindset back onto abundance. It's just too real at the moment, too big, too scary. I can't do it. That is not true. It's a choice that you're making to stay in that state. But now it's time to take responsibility and move into seeing yourself a different way, seeing yourself living a different life. Okay? And so what that looks like is obviously what you want is relief, right? You are feeling hungry, you're feeling starving for the money, starving for the security, the stability, the ease, the flow, starving for certainty with money. All you need to do is shift yourself into no longer feeling like you're hungry, no longer feeling like you're eternally wanting. Instead, you're now having, you're now being, you're now living from the end of having that. And how you can do that, I've always said you can either create a scene in your mind, or you can say it to yourself through affirmations, or you can do a rampage, you can script it out, you can meditate it out, whatever you want, as long as it's helping you get into that state where you're seeing yourself relaxed and expecting around money, right? So if you were already relaxed and expecting around money, and there was no lack or scarcity or fear, you weren't in the worst financial position you've ever been in, you were in the best financial position you've ever been in, how would you be feeling? What would your state be overall? Because in the old story that you've been telling, where it's really bad, you're in the worst position you've ever been in, the story is that it's not good, and therefore you must have been feeling probably anxious, like your dominant state was maybe anxiety, fear. There might have been maybe despair in there, but whatever, that's the overall state, right? So now moving into the new state, when you think about having money, being relaxed and expecting, what does that state feel like? I guarantee you it doesn't feel like scarcity, anxiety, and despair. It feels like what? That's the question you need to answer, right? And then once you have the answer, you need to start moving yourself into that state as consistently as possible. And don't tell me you can't do it. You absolutely can. You need to start disciplining yourself to doing this. You have 100% control over what you're feeling and what you're doing. You can absolutely do this. You can move yourself into a different state at any time, at any second. If you are in a state where you are disempowered, you are choosing to be there, right? I know this is a bit tough lovey, but a lot of us need it. I definitely needed it. So When you are in that disempowered state, it's time to nip that in the bud. Just remind yourself, hey, we're not there. We're not in the story now, the new story, and move yourself back. Move yourself back into that state of whatever it is that you dominantly feel in the state of having money and feeling relaxed and expecting around money. Moving on to the second question. What was the thing that clicked for me from getting small and consistent money to consistent money? Hi, Elise. I have been listening to this podcast for a few months now, and I really love your take on manifestation. It's really different to anything I've ever heard any other mindset and manifestation teachers say. And I really want to know, in your personal experience, was there something that just clicked for you, where you went from getting smaller and consistent stuff to consistent, successful manifestations? And what was it? Spill the secrets, please. So this is a great question. And the answer is yes. The thing that really clicked for me was when I realized that who I was being is what manifests, right? Who I was being, meaning the dominant state that I was inhabiting, right? So we move through different states a lot. We move through different emotions a lot. States tend to be more deep set and tend to be more of a thing that you are consistently in, right? Everyone has a dominant state. These can be changed though. So at the time when I wasn't feeling very empowered with money, my overall state was scarcity and avoidance. Really avoiding my finances. I did not want to look at them at all. So I would overcompensate by taking a lot of action, right? Taking a lot of action to make more money. If I made more money, then I didn't have to worry about all the issues that I had with my finances because, well, I just always had more money. But for me, it clicked when I realized that this was a self-concept. This was an identity that I was choosing to have. And it was who I was being. So I was being someone who had dysfunction with money, who never really felt safe with money and never felt secure with it because I was in this self-concept where I wasn't worthy. And so I had to get rid of it, right? And so when I got to the realization that it was who I was being is what manifests, I said to myself, well, what if I just became a person who didn't have to constantly drain their bank accounts, could make a lot of money, but also have plenty of money in the bank? What would that look like? And so I started to build a new self-concept through that, right? I started to see myself being supported, seeing myself having a lot of money, a lot of security, feeling safe to have that, feeling worthy to have that. And I started to build out what that state would feel like. And so it went from being in scarcity and, what was the other word again? Being in scarcity and avoidance to feeling deeply supported, right? Deeply supported and looked after and taken care of and feeling really abundant, right? Feeling really deserving, feeling really worthy, even though those things aren't actually required to manifest. It's just what I needed for me in order to put me into a different state, right? And so I continued doing this through a daily money practice, which I talk all about inside Money Mindset School and teach on it heavily because that is really what helps you change from one identity to another. So when I started seeing myself that way, it started changing how I felt overall, right? I didn't feel stressed about money. I didn't feel avoidant. I didn't feel like I was always getting it wrong. I didn't feel shame. I didn't feel guilt anymore. I started feeling supported. I started feeling abundant. I started living and moving from this place of money looks out for me. Money has got my back. I'm fully taken care of. I have so much ease with money, so much flow. My finances are well and truly healthy. There is no more dysfunction here. There's only peace. And so when I changed from how I was being before to who I was being now, this is how I am now, that's when things really shifted. That's when I went from sporadic, sometimes manifesting what I wanted and then sometimes not, to always manifesting what I wanted because I had changed. I had changed, right? I had truly changed. I had become another person. I had become a new identity. I saw myself differently. So that was the thing that really clicked for me. I hope that clicks for you too. Moving on to question number 3. How do you know when your money mindset work is working? Okay. Hi, Elise. I love the show. I would love to ask the question, how do you know when your money mindset work is working? I have been working on my mindset for 4 months now, and I really can't say whether things have changed or not. I don't know if what I'm doing is right because I can't tell if things are changing. Can you help, please? Okay, great question. Totally understand. Totally been there. So I've actually done an episode on this before. It's on YouTube called 5 Ways to Tell You've Successfully Rewired Your Mindset, your money mindset. So check that out. But to give you a simple breakdown of ways in which you will know, this isn't an exhaustive list. There's many other factors that come in, but these are the main ones that you're going to notice when your money mindset work is working. Obviously, the first thing that's going to happen is more money is going to come in, right? You're going to have more money coming to you either through your business, through your work, your job, your career, through other people, through random, unexpected sources. Things, different dynamics will be playing out in your business because predominantly most of you are in a business. You might be starting to make surprise sales, random sales will come in, different people are going to be contacting you about working with you. It will happen in different ways, like it's different for everyone. But overall, more money is going to be coming in. The next thing you'll notice is in terms of your finances, things are going to be changing. So if you have had like a weird dynamic with savings, maybe you've saved a certain amount and then a bill will come in and you have to dip into your savings to pay for it, or maybe you can't seem to get past a certain point with your savings, or perhaps you're spending a lot more than you're earning. Whatever dynamics are going on in terms of your finances, you're going to start seeing those changing, right? So maybe more and more money is accumulating in your account, in your savings accounts, and bills aren't coming in anymore to wipe out those savings that you've just accumulated. Or they are, but they're not taking out all of the sum, like all of the amount that's in your savings account. Same with the debt that you have. If you haven't been able to pay it off, you'll be able to start paying that off more and it will stay off. Even if it's by a few dollars, that's a sign that your mindset work is working. You'll also notice there are less fluctuations, right? Less fluctuations with money overall, like how much you're spending, how much you're making. There's less fluctuations, less like highs and lows, less feast or famine cycles going on. If that's been a dynamic that's playing out for you, there'll be less of that. You'll also notice that there's more peace with money. You'll feel a lot more peaceful with it. You won't feel so grippy. You won't feel so attached to it. You won't feel so scarce with it. You'll have a lot more spaciousness with money. And then the main thing is to notice that whatever dysfunctions you had with money, whatever they were, in whatever ways they looked, you'll start to notice that they're not a thing anymore. There isn't dysfunction there. There's just ease, or there's no issues, right? Everything overall will start looking healthier, start looking better. So that's what I want you to pay attention to as clear evidence that your money mindset work is working. And the other thing that I do want you to focus on is also how you're feeling about money, right? So I said that you'll have more peace, but overall, I want you to think about how you're feeling in your business, how you're feeling with your finances, how you're feeling in your life when you're going out into the world. Maybe you're spending money, how you're feeling about yourself overall, because that is one thing that will change. And that's a clear indication that you have shifted into a new self-concept. You're starting to see yourself differently, right? You're starting to see yourself as someone who has more ease with money, who has a better relationship with money, who's got money on their side, essentially. Okay? Hopefully that answers. So, our fourth question is, what was the most difficult challenge you have overcome to start truly manifesting? Hi, Elise. I love your show. I love that everyone here loves the show. What I would like to know is, what is or was the most difficult challenge or obstacle you had to overcome to start truly manifesting? And what is the best way for me to start tapping into and utilizing my feminine manifestation energy? This is a very good question. My biggest challenge and biggest obstacle was being addicted to the old story, right? Being addicted to victimhood and struggle and strain, and that everything is hard and the world is against me and that nothing ever works out for me. I was very addicted to that story because I told it over and over again for years, right? It's very much romanticizing the struggle. When you do not take responsibility for yourself in your life, you will make excuses, come up with stories and obstacles that prevent you from having what you want. For me, it was like, if I made it about how it was so hard and nothing was working, it validated my struggle, right? It was like a looped story where I didn't get to win, but then there was almost like this validation in that because I didn't get to win because it was so hard anyway. I didn't get to have what I want because it was really, really hard. I tried and it didn't work, very much that story, but it's some bullshit that I was sniffing and I decided I didn't want to sniff that BS anymore. Why? Because I knew better. I knew better. That's the problem. When you fully immerse yourself in this work, you cannot escape the inevitable, that you're the one creating it all. You're the creator of your reality. You cannot escape that. So therefore, you know better. And now that if you continue with the old story, you know that you are the only one who's choosing victimhood. You're the only one who's choosing to blame outside circumstances for what you are putting yourself through, right? And so I knew better. I knew better. And for a time, I still didn't do anything about it. It wasn't until I went through my breakdown moment that I've shared many times before that happened in Portugal, where I was like, fuck this. I'm so done with this story. I'm so done with making myself struggle unnecessarily. This is stupid. I'm making really good money. Why am I acting like I don't deserve this or it's hard? This isn't hard. I'm making it hard through what I am doing, what I am choosing. So I'm going to start choosing a different way, a different story, a different outcome. I'm going to stop making this a game that I will never win and turn it into a game where I'm always the winner. So I know that's like, when you think about manifestation, you're like, wow, that kind of feels like it doesn't have anything to do with manifestation. It's so much deeper. It's so much deeper because manifestation isn't like some gimmick. It isn't a trend. Well, maybe the idea of it is a trend, but it isn't like this thing that comes and goes. You are always manifesting, always. From the state that you are living in, the state that you are inhabiting is the state that's manifesting for you right now. So whatever is occurring in your life right now with money and with anything else, that is an effect of the state that you're in, right? So when you change the state, you change the identity. When you change the identity, you change the outcomes that are occurring in your life, right? So that is the biggest challenge and obstacle I overcame. And that is what I literally teach in Money Mindset School how to do to overcome the biggest challenge, which is you. And really helping you change your self-concept for real. Not just doing things, like doing activities to help you feel good in the moment, but like nothing is actually changing internally. No. In Money Mindset School, I teach you how to truly become a different person. That's why I love this membership. That's why it's so different to every other course and membership out there, because it's truly about identity. It's about self-concept and the state that you are inhabiting 24/7, right? So moving on to the second part of that question, the best place to start is just about letting things be easy, allowing there to be more flow, not feeling like you have to constantly push and work hard, which is very much a masculine thing, but learning to balance that energy with more ease. So I don't know if you follow human design, but in human design, I'm a projector. And so projectors have this thing where they like try to be like manifesting generators, but they can't. And they need a lot of rest. They need to deeply rest, which I am learning to do more and more each day. I'm getting better at it. Sometimes I make a mistake, but that's okay. We're human, we're allowed to learn. But it would be allowing more rest into your life, allowing more things to flow. And then the other thing I would recommend to start doing is to use your imagination more in terms of placing yourself into different states, right? Placing yourself into different experiences in your body instead of going out and physically doing it, placing yourself through your imagination into different states, like abundance, like feeling like there is more ease, into more flow in life, and just feeling into that. What does it feel like? Explore it. Let yourself play with it. Don't like try to make it into a mechanical thing, because then you're getting into more of the masculine. It's just about playing with it. And if you start to practice that, you'll start to find your own groove of blending that feminine manifestation energy into your and with your masculine energy. Okay? All right, and now moving on to the fifth and final question. How do I know whether to wait for the manifestation to occur or take action? Hey, Elise, I just wanted to ask this question because I really would love your advice on it. It seems like as much manifesting and mindset work I do, I don't really see results. I would love to know what I'm doing wrong or not doing that can help me move forward. How do I know whether to wait for it to manifest or take more action? Good question. So I'm going to go back to what I shared in the second question, which is I always ask myself, who am I being? Right? Who am I being right now? Am I being the rich and wealthy Elise? Am I feeling like that person, like that version of myself? Am I feeling like the Elise who has ease, who has flow, who is living a life of abundance, who's living a life where she sees herself as highly worthy, where she sees herself as a beautiful soul, a confident woman, a woman who loves her work and produces incredible work for the people that she loves helping? Or am I seeing her as the opposite of that? Am I being the opposite of that? And then based on your answer, you will know whether you are doing the right thing or not, right? So I always say it's not about deliberately going out and taking more action for the sake of taking action to try and enforce a result. The action is going to come naturally, right? It will come naturally based on who you are being. If you are being someone who is in scarcity and lack, like let's say you want to manifest having an amazing launch, like a really profitable launch. You want to maybe have a $20,000 launch and get a ton of people into your program or into your services or membership, but you're inhabiting a state of lack and scarcity. So what that looks like is you're going to approach your marketing, you're going to approach selling, you're going to approach the people that you want into your containers from that energy. You're going to be a person who is lack focused. And therefore, the results are usually not going to be great. They're usually going to be that you didn't get what you wanted, that not enough people joined, you didn't make enough money to be able to last you until XYZ time. It's just not a story where you win, right? Because you were in that lack story. Now, if you were being a person who is abundant and you were being a person who is wealthy and seeing yourself as someone who's highly successful and that all your work is enough and that there's nothing you have to do or prove or try to do, and you launch from this place of true love and true connection and alignment with your soul, and it's not about what actions you're taking, it's just what's feeling really good and natural to you, the results are usually going to be a lot better because that's the energy you're coming from. You're coming from the energy, you're being the person who is successful, who's had a successful launch. You're not being a person who didn't have a successful launch, right? So that's what I mean about who am I being? That's the best question to ask yourself, to check in and figure out where you are. Because you will know very quickly whether you are actually living in the state or if you aren't, right? So from that, thinking about whether to wait for it or to take more action, you have to ask yourself, have you really changed within? Or are you still waiting? Are you still wanting? Do you still feel needy? Do you still feel like it's missing? Do you still feel like you're reaching out and wanting it? Do you still feel like you are in lack? Are you living in the end of the wish fulfilled? Are you truly living in the end? Usually you're not. Usually if you're asking questions like that, you're not. And that's okay. We've all been there. God, I've been there so many times, I cannot even count them. But when you are there, it's always about checking in, asking yourself, who am I being? And then shifting. Making the shift from there. Because intellectually, you're doing everything right? You're thinking about, okay, I want this result, so I need to take this action. I want to have this successful launch, so I need to, create this amount of promotional materials. I need to do this many promotional videos or promotional content, and then I need to send this many emails, and that should get me the result. Intellectually, that's everything done right. You're taking all the right actions. But emotionally, energetically, and from the right state, are you there? Are you actually there? Or are you using the action as a means to compensate for the lack of being in that end state? Right? These are the hard questions we have to ask ourselves. But when we truly answer them and we truly do the work, the real work, for this money mindset manifestation work, the results you get are insane, right? They are true results. They are massive results. They are results that you never would have imagined were possible, but because you changed, the outcomes changed. The possibilities available for you changed because you changed. So, my loves, that is the 5 more juicy questions that you wanted answered about money. One thing I just want to end on is with money, every outcome possible is available for you. Every outcome possible. At the moment, it is likely that you're choosing an outcome that doesn't serve you, that doesn't feel good, that isn't at the full spectrum of what is truly available for you. But when you do this thing called taking responsibility for yourself and you decide that you're going to make this happen no matter what, because you truly are the only one who can decide. I can sit here and tell you as much advice as I possibly can, but until you decide that this means something to you and this truly is what you want and you're going to go for it and get it no matter what and no matter how long it takes, that's when it's truly going to change. But until that happens, it's likely that this experience that you're having with money is going to keep occurring. And I know it's a hard pill to swallow, very much was for me, but I know at some point it will become too much and you will want to change. And that's when I'll be here, ready and waiting for you to help you really do this for real, to support you through it. Like I said, that's why I created Money Mindset School. And that's what I truly believe I'm here to help people do. So speaking of, Money Mindset School is open for enrollment for 4 days. And I would love to see you in there. Because if you're truly ready, you're truly done with the money struggle, you're truly over having money be inconsistent, sporadic, difficult, a strain, a burden, if you're really over that and you're ready to become a different person, you're ready to create a new identity where you're rich as fuck instead of broke as fuck, get into Money Mindset School. It is the most affordable container out there right now. The price is increasing this round, so I do highly recommend you get in while it's the lowest price it will ever be right now. And I would love to help and support you in this journey. If you have any questions, make sure you DM me. Otherwise, head to the link elisemcdowell.com/membership, and I cannot wait to see you inside. Okay, beautiful people. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. As always, if you loved it, I'd love for you to drop a review, and I will see you in the next episode.